Hi for today we'll be continuing to look at dividing two-digit numbers by a one-digit number. Our first question looks like this: 16 divided by 2. So I've got my whole number 16 and I'm going to be dividing by 2. A way that we can do this using our pictorial representations is to group these into twos, because we are dividing by 2. So we can group our cubes into twos. So I'm going to keep on grouping my cubes so they are all in pairs of 2. Now we can complete these sentences. There are how many cubes altogether? Well, we know the total number we started with was 16. Our whole number is 16. So there are 16 cubes altogether. And we were dividing by 2. And now we need to find out how many groups of 2 we can make. So we need to count how many lots we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 groups of 2. So we now know that 16 divided by 2 equals 8. Let's look at doing this for 16 divided by 4. We are dividing by 4, which means now we are making groups of 4 with our pictures. So I'm going to group 4 cubes together each time until I've used up all of my cubes. There are 16 cubes altogether. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 4, which means 16 divided by 4 equals 4. Let's look at doing this for 16 divided by 5. We're starting with the same number, but this time we are making groups of 5. I've got 1 group of 5, 2 groups of 5, 3 groups of 5, and then I run out of cubes. I have not got enough cubes left to make a whole group of 5. So what we need to do instead is complete the sentences for the number of groups we have, which is 1, 2, 3, but then also write that there is 1 cube remaining. It is important that we always say if there is cubes or numbers remaining. So if I was to write my answer, I would write 16 divided by 5 equals 3, with a remainder, that's how many are remaining, a remainder of 1. Let's complete this question together. You can pause the video and see if you can write the numbers in before we do it together. Okay, so 16 divided by 6, we are making groups of 6. So I've got 1 group of 6, 2 groups of 6, and then I can't make any more groups of 6. I only have 4 cubes left. So there are 2 groups of 6, and there are 4 cubes remaining. Those 4 do not make a group of 6. There is not enough to make a group of the number we are dividing by. So instead, we write down this. 16 divided by 6 equals 2. Because remember, when we grouped them into 6s, there was only 2 groups we could make. And then we say that important word, remainder. The number remaining is 4. Next, we are going to look at how to use number lines to show our division. So I have my division sentence here. 16 divided by 4 equals 4. So we've already got our answer. We're just going to look at how we can show this on a number line. So here is my number line starting at 0 and going all the way up to 16, because 16 is my total number, my starting number. So that's how long my number line needs to be. We are dividing by 4, which means we have to do jumps of 4. So I start at my total number, my 16, and I'm going to jump back 4 spaces on my number line. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've landed on 12. 16 take away 4 equals 12. I'm going to continue to jump and take away 4 each time until I reach 0. So we jump, and then we jump, and then we jump, and we've perfectly landed on 0. All we have to do now is check that each of our jumps are 4, which they are, and then we count how many jumps we have to do, and that is our answer. So I jumped in 4s, that's done perfectly, and I did 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps, which is why 16 divided by 4 equals 4. Let's now look at 16 divided by 5. So again, I've got my number line 0 to 16 because 16 is my total number. And this time we're going to be jumping back in 5s. So I need to start by taking away 5. 16 take away 5, I land on 11. I'm going to jump another 5 numbers and land on 6. Another 5 and I land on 1. Now, I have not landed exactly on 0. And I can't do any more jumps because they have to be jumps of 5. So instead, we write that we did 1, 2, 3 jumps, 3 lots of 5, but that we have a remainder of 1. Because there is one tiny little jump left that we cannot do, we have 1 left over that doesn't fit into our dividing by 5. Let's look then at 16 divided by 7. Again, I need my number line to 16 because that is my whole number, and now we are jumping in 7s. So 16 take away 7, I am on 9. Take away another 7, and I land on 2. But then again, I've not landed perfectly on 0, and I cannot do another jump because I've only got 2 left. That is not a jump of 7. So instead, I count how many jumps I was able to do. 2. And how many do I have left over? What did I land on? I landed on 2, which means I have a remainder of 2. Okay, our turtle friend Tiny has done some division sentences. He's worked them out using number lines, and we're going to use our detective brains to spot where he has made a mistake. So 16 divided by 4 equals 4. Let's check his first question. He jumped in groups of 4 because he's dividing by 4. That is correct. How many jumps did he do? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups, which means the answer 4 is correct. Let's look at 17 divided by 4 as well. 17 divided by 4, he's jumped in groups of 4. That is perfectly done. He didn't land on 0, and he couldn't do any more jumps. And he has a remainder of 1. So, did Tiny write 4 jumps with a remainder 1? Yes, he did, so he got that one correct as well. 18 divided by 4. He's jumped in his groups of 4. He can't make any more jumps. He can't make any more groups of 4 because there's not enough left. What has he landed on? He's landed on 2. So he's done 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps, and he's got 2 remaining. So he's written 4, remainder 2. That is also correct. Looking at 19 divided by 4 then. He's jumped in his groups of 4. each time going back, and then he's not able to make any more jumps. There's only 1, 2, 3 remaining, so he can't make a group of 4. He's made 4 full groups, and then he's got 3 left over that don't fit in those groups. So he's written 4, remainder 3, which is also correct. Final question then, 20 divided by 4. He has said the answer is 4, remainder 4. Let's have a look at that. He's jumped in 4s. He's done that correctly. But when he gets to 4, he's said that he cannot do any more jumps. That isn't true. Tiny can still do one more jump of 4 to take him to our perfect 0. If he was to do that final jump, he would then have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps, showing that 20 divided by 4 equals 5, not 4 remainder 4. It's impossible to have a remainder of 4 when we are dividing by 4. If you have 4 left over, you are able to make another group of 4. We can also show our divisions in a place value chart with place value counters. So I have got 73. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens counters, that's 70, and 3 ones counters, that's 3. So altogether, 73. I am going to share out my tens counters into my tens column. I've got 3 rows because we are dividing by 3. Sharing those out, I can equally share 2 into each row. But then I have 1 left over. So we are going to exchange that for 10 ones counters. So now I have a total of 13 ones counters. Just like yesterday, we're going to share those out equally into the ones column. When I share these equally, I manage to get 4 in each row before I run out. I've only got 1 left, which means I can't make equal groups. So instead, this becomes our remainder. To find the answer then, we need to read the total of 1 row. When we divide by 3, we have 3 rows, but we want the total of 1 row as our answer. So I've got 2 tens, 20, add 4. So my answer is 24 with a remainder of 1. Some questions we will get will look like this, where we have a missing number. We don't know what we are dividing by. So it's important that we look at the information we do know. So how many we are starting with our total, which is 21, and our answer 4 remainder 1. Now, because our answer is 4 remainder 1, we know that whatever we are dividing by, we managed to make 4 equal groups, and then we had 1 left over. Because we know there are 4 equal groups that can be made, we can draw 4 boxes and share out our counters to find how many counters are in each group. But we have to remember that there is a remainder of 1. So first of all, we are going to take that remainder and stick it on the side of our boxes. Now we are going to share these counters out, because we know that these counters were part of these groups, and it was only this 1 counter that was remaining. So once we share out our counters equally into each box, we can see that there is 5 counters in each box. So if we were trying to make groups of 5, like we have done, there can be 4 groups of that 5 and 1 left over. So we have successfully worked out that the missing number is 5. You now need to complete the questions on the PowerPoint and make sure to send me some pictures of how you get on.